Hello. Let me get the BGM on. There we go. Now everything is right in the world. Hi, Karisu. I see that you were in the chat and you redeemed first. Congratulations to first place. Hey, Karisu. I appreciate you showing up so early today. Oh man, wow, I don't even have plans for today. I just wanted to get on and talk about some things. But first, my usual housekeeping. For anyone who is unfamiliar with my streams, if you are lurking or watching this VOD later, I am Luminous Peak, your friendly neighborhood fae on sabbatical, here on Earth figuring out fun things that you humans do, trying to find a hobby. I am on break from my normal job of saving worlds in distress. Feel free to hit the exclamation point hello command if you are new here, if you want a greeting. And I have a little custom choose your own adventure game in the commands if you want to hit exclamation point explore to get that started. You also get like a little description of what the library that I'm in looks like. Karisu, I heard the ding that you went live this time. I'm glad that you heard it this time. I don't know. Twitch has been really weird about sending people push notifications recently. I found that a lot of my notifications come in either very late or I just get skipped and they don't, or they literally just don't at all. Ooh, kissy. I am told I give good kisses, so I hope you enjoyed that. I do in fact have some new commands down below. I don't think you've looked at them since I've added to them. So, yeah, today is Thursday. I don't know why I tend to have check-ins on Thursdays more than any other days. Wait, am I crazy? Today is actually Thursday, right? Yeah, okay, yes, it's Thursday. I had to make sure. Sometimes I do not know what day of the week it is. I don't get Twitch notifications. The notification came from Chatterino. And I don't have Chatterino, so I have no clue what the functionality of that is or how well it works. Hopefully it does you justice. I just have Twitch mobile, honestly, so that's pretty much how I do it. Sometimes, or at least recently, the mobile app has not been pushing notifications the way that they should. I don't know, it's a mixed bag. I've had some friends do it and hit the go live button, hit the button, and they do not send out any notifications at all for me. But from what I can hear, from what I've heard, that's what I mean. My brain, I'm sorry. I've just gotten off work today, so my brain is like not chugging. From what I have heard, Twitch is playing around with how they push notifications out. They're trying to figure out, I suppose, how to balance people that you watch often and people that you don't to figure out notifications so that people, or I guess their servers are not just chugging to turn out notifications for every single person who is streaming all the time. If it's open and you're on my notice list, it dings when you go like, oh, I'm on your notice list. That's so sweet. I know that some people, if they're watching this VOD later, they're probably like, well, this is your mod, obviously. But I mean, I don't expect everyone to know when I go live. I prefer to have people close to me have mod status just in case like something happens. It's like, I'm not out here employing mods or something like that. There's no actual responsibility. It's just if something pops off and I'm not able to get to it, it's nice to have, friends who can, like, other avenues to get stuff done, basically. Oh man, this has been a week. Not a bad week, just a week. It is the last week of June, the last week of Pride, and then we're moving straight into yeehaw howdy 4th of July territory. So the stores are full of people already preparing in advance, or I guess technically last minute at this point if it's Thursday. But I think 4th of July is Tuesday. It's not Monday this year, it's Tuesday. So that is already interesting. Usually it falls like on one of like the weekend days. It's been a little while, I think, since 4th of July fell like closer to the middle of the week. So yeah, I wanted to get on and just have a little chat. There were some things that I wanted to discuss last time when I was streaming, but because I was actually busy being productive and not pretending to be productive, like usual, I did not get a chance to talk about those things. So I just wanted to actually just address some stuff and just, have a little chat, do a little venting, that kind of thing. Before I get to that, I know that Kurisu, I've spoken to you earlier, but how has your week been? It is, in fact, Thursday. We are over hump day. So hopefully you've been having a good week. Hopefully. We'll have to see. I don't know. Every time I check in with people, I'm hearing unexpected things this week. Just people not being sure what the heck is going on, or people being surprised by things. I don't know. I guess this is like a week of surprises. I have not read my tarot for this week, so I don't actually know. I tend not to. I prefer to take things as they come, so. No humping happening here, just productivity and getting coding done. Same. No humping here. Man, I think I, at some point over the last weekend, maybe strained something in my back. My back has been giving me actual issues. Not like regular you're getting old issues. Like, man, I definitely hurt something type of issues. Oh yeah, weren't you going to do a tarot redeem at some point? Yes. There was a tarot redeem. I think there still is. It's just expensive. I made it slightly less expensive because I didn't want it to be unattainable. I did actually go in and rebalance some of my channel point redeems. And I added some too. I added a few new ones and tried to rebalance them. I realized that they were quite high. And although I do tend to stream for a long time, I didn't want to have my redeem seem like unwelcoming to people who can't make it to my streams all the time. I definitely want people to feel rewarded for the time that they do spend with me. And I feel like I priced them based on how prohibitive I wanted the redeems to be. I don't want people redeeming for tarot readings all the time, but I don't mind if it happens sometimes. Yeah, same here. My back has been tweaking lately. Yeah, it was crazy. For me, it was definitely a muscle thing. I had to like get like a heating pad and everything. It was really bad. I don't actually know what happened. Oh gosh, look at you. I see you out here. Here we go. Actually, before I do that, wait, let me check my filters, because I don't know if my filter is gonna interfere or not. Let's see. Okay, here we go. That might have been a little too close to the mic, sorry. Hopefully that was good for you. I had a conversation actually with oh, ooh la la. I actually had a conversation with one of my close friends. I suppose we could say like one of my partners, but basically they were explaining to me, they don't watch me stream. I would like to point that out. They don't watch me stream. They don't have the time, unfortunately. But we were hanging out over Drunk Mario Party. I tweeted about that last week when I was playing Drunk Mario Party at my friend's house. And I can't recall what it was that I said. It was some very normal sentence. But their response was, "Oh wow, I bet people love hearing your voice on stream because you have like such a good smoky voice." And I was like, "Hey, what now? What?" And we had to have this whole conversation where they were like, "Oh yeah. Like, you have like the good, like that good smokiness, like get right up in your ear. Like that's it. Like if I could just, like just record you saying literally anything and just play it on repeat, like I would do that." And I was like, oh my God. It can't, I was explaining to them, I was like, well, my instinct is to say that can't possibly be true, but I've been told on stream that my ada ada is good enough. And so their response was, "What the fuck is an ada ada?" So then I had to explain that. No, that's about right. Yeah, they were very detailed. They were very detailed about the specific qualities of my voice that they feel make it smoky. In my head, it sounds more nasally, and I do think that there is a bit of nasaliness to my voice. But apparently there are other, especially when I get into my lower register like this, it has that smoky quality is what was explained to me. So that was a very interesting conversation. As long as people are enjoying my voice, I don't think I have a bad voice, or at least like a voice that grates on the ears. I do not think I have that, but it's still sometimes hard to accept that I have like a desirable voice, right? I think we've had this exchange on stream before, but I think that my voice is perhaps just not my own type of voice, perhaps, or not one of the types, because I have multiple voice types that I enjoy, but not normally there isn't. In the lower registers, maybe a little breathy, but in the good way. Yes, my voice is definitely breathy in the lower registers. I wouldn't call it nasally. I think of Fran Drescher when I think nasally. Yeah, but she's an extreme case. Like Fran's nasal qualities are like very pronounced, right? I feel like you can be nasally without it being extreme. So like in my head, it sounds like a slight amount of nasaliness. But as long as everyone's enjoying it, I'm not gonna complain. So this friend was encouraging me, and they were like, "Oh, so I'm sure that you like sing or do karaoke." And I was like, "Ah, man, I haven't been brave enough to do it yet." And they were like, "Oh, you should definitely, like, especially if you picked like a alto, like a alto register song, like your voice would just be great." Yes, and I clipped it again for continued enjoyment. One day I'm just gonna go the Zeb route and just do it as a like just have a sound redeem that's me going ada ada. But the reason why I haven't done that is because I feel like there's like a, not unique per se, but I think that there is a desirable quality in being able to redeem it and the person say it like right there and it's your own, you know, like unique thing. VODs are only up, you know, for so long and you can't clip things forever, but you never know. You might get a differently intoned one day, you know, that maybe one day you'll get like a high pitched instead of like a low pitched so, you know, it depends on the mood, right? And I just think there's something that's cute about like, I just want to hear you say something really quick. Ada Ada is literally like, it's not even words, right? It's 2 sounds. I have a collection of your Ada Ada clips at this point. Oh man, I gotta, I don't know, work on some variations. The funniest thing is I have been asked by friends of mine who do lurk. Usually, like, I do have IRL friends that watch the stream occasionally. And I have the number one question that I get from people is, at least I used to get it. I haven't gotten it recently, but a couple months ago it was like, so how long did you practice your Ada Ada? Hey, Illumi besties. A couple of them do speak in stream once or twice. It's literally a couple, like literally, and some of them, I don't know. So some of them I've mentioned that I know IRL, and some of them they just, you know, be lurking just in case. Yeah, I've had a couple people ask me recently, hey, I want to listen to you stream. I even had one person who sent me a message, and their message was they watched a VOD. And they sent me a message that said, hey, I watched one of your VODs or part of one. And I was like, great. And they were like, it's so weird hearing your voice come out of this specific model. Like it's odd seeing and hearing your voice come out of this thing when I've like talked to you in real life. And when I get that reaction, because this isn't the first time, it always makes me laugh because this model is based on a very real actual costume that I have worn. It is not me one for one for anonymity reasons, but it is like, it's basically like, it's there. I mean, what are they visualizing in their minds? I don't know. Perhaps me recently, so this is something that everyone in the online space wouldn't know. Hello, Lemon, how are you? But I am a person. Yes, thank you for redeeming second. Congrats. So people in the online space couldn't possibly know. I have posted a few pictures of myself, usually with like my face censored. But over the last decade, I have easily had 24 different hairstyles. I'm well. I saw the notification, but I wanted to finish responding. So I am used to having different looks. So the look that you see here for this model, I've absolutely worn this look. I actually don't think I have dressed my model in anything that I haven't worn. Not that I can't. There are definitely some outfits and things that I cannot afford that I would definitely dress my model in. But for now, everything that you've seen of them are like outfits I actually have. So I've worn this hair. I have fox ears. I have antlers with butterflies on them. The facial markings, the fur stole, all of these things I have done. I think the hardest thing would probably be the eyes. Contacts that look like this are difficult, but I do also wear contacts for different costumes and things. So my assumption when this friend said, it's weird hearing your voice come out of this model, I assume that there must be some other version of me appearance-wise that has made a stronger impression on them. And they're imagining whatever that is. Now, which one that is, I can't tell you. I've had any number of hairstyles, accessories, outfits, of all different sorts. Long, short, straight, poofy. I can't tell you. I have absolutely no clue. I dress up all the time. And while I haven't done it quite as much since the pandemic, I definitely have. Is the red one definitely the red one? Oh no, it's definitely the red one, clearly. So saying that to say, I'm unsure. The funny thing is, the outfit and style that my model is based off of, what I am, so to speak, is definitely a version that he saw in person. Like this person saw me in person while I was dressed like this. Like, it's not even like, oh, they saw photos posted somewhere. They saw me in person. They were one of the few people that were privileged enough to see me actually dressed in this way. So the response of "it's weird seeing or hearing your voice come out of this model" was so the irony was palpable. The irony was palpable. Like, you have literally heard my voice coming out of this, so I don't understand. I was literally this. You've heard me speak, so I'm not sure. But that was super interesting. He also commented that hearing me on stream made him focus on my voice, and he realized that apparently my voice is attractive. Which was not something that this person realized before, apparently. So it was just an amusing conversation all around. Saying all of that to say, my bestie was just like, yeah, them hoes don't know what they're getting. I hope they know the value. You should charge to whisper in people's ear. My response, of course, was, I'm going to charge you to whisper in your ear. And their response was, how much? Because my friends and I operate that way. It was a very amusing and refreshing conversation. And I don't know, it was very nice hearing that my voice has attractive qualities. I've never thought ill of my voice, but I've never considered my voice to be particularly smoky or attractive. So it's nice to hear it from other people. And also, I do monitor my audio while I'm on stream. I know I don't have to, but because I've had insecurities about my voice, I usually do. And I will say, the microphone that you are using, whatever it is you're recording to, makes a huge difference. Not that I didn't know that, but I think I underestimated the amount of difference it makes. Which isn't to say that you need like a super expensive mic or anything, but just literally anything above, I don't know, recording on your phone. Although, you know, phones have gotten better over the years. I suppose like phones are up to par these days, but it's still, the quality of the equipment matters is the point that I'm trying to get at. Alrighty. Before I get too distracted talking about voices and things, the reason why we got on this topic, Lemon, is because Kurisu redeemed an Ara Ara and it reminded me. There have been so many things happening this week, not even just in life, but also in the VTubing sphere. I wanted to take a moment to talk about the graduation of Nina Kosaka. I've tweeted about it. For anybody who doesn't know who Nina is one of the Nijisanji talents. I guess technically was, because she's graduating soon. But I actually really liked her a lot. So it actually quite impacted me. I don't want to say I thought that she would be around forever, because no one's around forever. But I definitely thought she was gonna be here for longer than another couple weeks. I think her graduation stream is gonna be on the 11th. It's really tough when you're in the VTuber space, because I think when you're not already in it, it seems so small. And then you join, and you realize, you know, there's a difference between the corpos and like the indies, and the indie sphere is super big. And so it's very easy to, you know, sort of get lost in there. But I feel like that initial contact, right? That initial contact with someone who is performing like as a talent makes a very big impression on you. Nina was not the first VTuber that I watched, but she was definitely the first Niji Sanji talent that I watched. I think at least like the first one that I watched a full stream for. I saw some highlights of streams from, it had to have been the Luxium boys. Like, it was just highlights. And this was before I was streaming. I streamed around the time I think that Noctix debuted, maybe a little after. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was a little bit after they debuted. They hadn't been debuted for very long. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I do like the personalities of these talents. I think their origin stories are cute. Let me like look and see if I can actually find a talent from Niji Sanji that I like. So I kind of sampled different streams. I found Vox, and that was a whole thing. And I was like, okay, we got to come back to this. I can't watch a whole full stream of this because I don't know if I like it because I like it or if I like it because of his voice. Let me actually find someone whose personality I like first, and then we'll like revisit. So I ended up coming across Nina, and she was the first talent that I watched like a full stream that wasn't like debut coverage of. And I actually loved her a lot. I think I ended up binging quite a few of her streams. And I don't know, she's definitely what I would consider my comfort streamer in terms of just going back to watch like VODs of things. And I really liked her because, I don't know, the realm of streaming I've had a very tumultuous relationship with it. I used to not watch streamers at all. I used to just be a YouTube girly. And part of the reason why that is because I'm used to people, like when streaming first became popular, I had friends that wanted to try to stream. And the result of them wanting to try to stream was basically pressuring people to watch them all the time. I will say my son loves your streams. He hears your voice and fucking books it. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, my heart is warm. Thank you. Oh, wow. That made me blush a little more than I wanted to. But yeah, my usual association with streaming is people asking, hey, do you want to see gameplay of X thing? I can stream it for you. And the reason why I don't like that is because there's so much pressure to be there live if someone is streaming something just for you. I realize that bigger streamers don't have this issue. They just kind of do what they want. But on a smaller level, I don't know, I felt awkward about it. I was like, well, I don't want to like start watching streamers that aren't the people who want to stream things for me, because then it becomes a bit awkward. It's not that I can't, you know, be confrontational and tell people like don't, because I absolutely did at the time. But I just don't like having those sort of encounters often, because people do not tend to like it when you stand your ground with them and enforce boundaries. Usually when people's feelings are hurt by your boundaries, it just doesn't end well. Some people do not accept rejection well, just in general. So I prefer to minimize the amount of rejection conversations I have to have whenever possible. I put my phone down and he picked it up to watch you. Oh no. That honestly is just too fucking adorable. I'm not sure if me randomly cursing is like something a child should listen to. But I am glad that he likes my voice. It's a bit different. I know him in person. But with that said, yeah, I had a very tumultuous relationship with streaming for quite a while until I decided I wanted to stream myself. And as a person who is a creative, who is used to just sort of doing things just to do them. Oh, it's 707. That's my lucky number. Oh my God, I swear, Mom, you're fine. That's good to know. Some people are touchy about that stuff. It depends. All the mama bears are different. All the papa bears are different as well. So yeah, I didn't want to get into it because then I knew inevitably I'd have people that I want to watch more than friends. Not because my friends are necessarily bad at streaming, but most of the friends I have are they're introverts and they haven't really practiced or mastered talking at length. You know, you go into a stream and sometimes if you're just looking for gameplay, it's fine if the stream is quiet. But I do enjoy getting to know people through the personalities of what they discuss during their streams. Their voices, the things they like, the things they get excited about. I don't require that, but it is nice to have the interaction, right? My friends at the time, the ones who were streaming anyway, were not quite doing that. So I didn't want to come across a situation where I was watching a bunch of other streamers and I was just like, you know, I'm cool with YouTube videos for now. So when I started streaming myself, I mean, a couple things. I am a creative, and I write and do other things quite often. I am motivated by seeing the things that I want to do exist. That is it. I know that some people, you know, like stream because they would like to, you know, like make money or have attention and be acknowledged. And those things are nice. I am not at all saying that I don't like those things. I also have like a Ko-fi and a PayPal for donos and things like that because they do help ease the wallet for stream costs. Like streaming does cost things. However, I just enjoy creating and I enjoy sharing the things that I create with people, making it available for people to participate in regardless of if they do. I will not disclose any of my writing pen names here, but I wrote for a decade plus, just doing fan fiction, just doing crazy stuff, just finding interesting things to do. And just literally just that. And I would be asked all the time, you know, like, okay, so like what motivates you to write? And what motivates me to write is seeing the shit I want to see on paper. I write so that I can conceptualize the things that don't exist that I would like to exist. At least so far as writing goes. Streaming is not quite that unique. There are tons of people who like, you know, show up, and I'm sure there are many Faytubers, Foxtubers, etc. So I can't claim to be unique in this sense. When I used to write crack fic, that was a completely different affair. I was literally the only one writing for my OTP. With the exception of like gift fics that people would write for me specifically because I was in the fandom for so long. I became specifically known for that one OTP. So just saying all of that to say that you can sort of tell when a person is into their craft specifically for acknowledgement. And there's nothing wrong with that. I am not shaming people who are here to be acknowledged, who want to have people look at their things and give them feedback. Feedback is lovely. I like feedback. I think all creatives enjoy being acknowledged in their sphere by people who consume art, right? But it is not the sole or even majority motivating factor for me to produce art. So talking with people who I knew would be dependent on my like attention, like I knew they would turn it into an obligation, right? Most streamers are just kind of, I mean, there are some fringe ones who are like kind of crazy, but most streamers are just kind of like, yeah, I'm streaming because I enjoy streaming. I would like to be acknowledged for it, but we're working hard. We're trying to, you know, make myself good enough to garner that attention. And until then, you know, if you vibe with my stream, show up. If you're busy, then that's fine too. Which is exactly how I feel about it. But when you have people who are sort of like not that confident, they're looking to have you sort of fill that place for them. And I did not want to put myself in the position to do that. It would have gotten to the point where people were like scheduling their streams around my schedule, and I could not handle that. No. I am a very direct fae. I will absolutely tell you if something is too much. And again, people do not react well, or they take rejection personally, or rejection of an idea as like rejection of them as a person. So I just prefer not to get into those situations, especially with people that I know who are fragile. It does help to have people tell you how you come off, but people have to be ready to receive that information. You know what I mean? If people are not ready to receive that information and like internalize it and attempt to take that in and consider it, those situations usually don't go well. So I wouldn't say that I'm conflict avoidant. I actually am the opposite. I am conflict enthusiastic. Because that's how I personally take notes on myself and grow. But what I have learned from my trials with discussing things with other people is that is perhaps not always the winning strategy. At least not if you are trying to maintain friends. There's a time and a place, so you have to wait until there's lower pressure to discuss those things, and that tends to work a little better, I think. So when I got into streaming, and I talked about this during my streamiversary stream, the VOD's like up on YouTube, but just in general, I was growing to watch VTubers more when I was getting into it, because I wanted to know what the landscape was like, what the market was like, what was popular, what the trends were, because I think that that's super important. Just so that you can know what like the industry standard is, right? You want to know what the standard is so you can at least meet that standard. This screen that we're looking at now, the other backgrounds and overlays and things that I had to watch a lot of time to sort of get the general idea and gist of what these things are. I know that a lot of people will actually just pay an artist to make and build custom things for them. But I did not do that. I built this myself. Everything you see here was done personally by me, besides the model. So my logo, the overlay and everything. So I had to do a lot of research, and I tried to improve it over time. It's very rare that your first ideas are like that shit, you know, like the number one thing. So I had to hone this idea over time and sort of figure out what my imagery was and that kind of thing. And that takes a long time. Even if you're design oriented, if it's not something you do often, you know. So anyway, saying all of that to say, I had to work very hard just to get to the point where I was personally satisfied with what I was doing. So up until then, I just was not into VTubing. And now that I'm here, it's wonderful. People are so nice, generally speaking. At least in this community, the majority of people I've seen, obviously you get some people who are, you know, like crazy, and there are divides based on like personal opinions and things like that. But overall, most people in this space are kind, I've found. Yep, it takes some time to get in your group. Absolutely. And I knew that. I had there are some older streams I'm sure you guys might be able to find somewhere where my overlays were definitely different. I was trying to, you know, like decide on my like colors and motifs and things like that. There are things that I like, that I specifically like, and those are I had to separate those things that I like from the things that I wanted to, or that I felt represented this model, basically. Things that represent me are things that I like, but I like a lot more than just those things. So I had to sort of like pinch and pull things apart. And to a certain degree, I still have a difficult time with that. I have a dark theme and a light theme for anyone who may be lurking or unfamiliar. This is currently my light theme. And my dark theme is not quite inversed, but something similar. It's definitely darker browns with purple highlights instead of what you see here. And I don't think I'm letting go of the dual mood thing. I actually just enjoy designing too much. But I think I've settled on things definitely for sure for now. So that's, good enough. And basically, oh my god, I almost forgot where I was going with this. The point I was making, it's just that it takes a lot of trial and error to figure things out. VTubing is not an art, so you're discovering new things every day. You're learning more about audio stuff, video stuff, how things work, programs and things like that. So it takes a lot of getting used to, and just in general, getting used to my voice was definitely one of those things. Hello, Space Kitty, how are you? On this Thursday evening. It's evening. It's so bright outside, it's hard for me to register it as evening. I hope that you are doing well. We're just chatting today. I just wanted to catch up on some stuff. So, saying all that to say, I was getting... Oh, IDK, if you saw my post, but I am not doing okay. I did not see your post, but I will go take a look at it after stream. I'm sorry to hear that you're not doing well. I'm so sorry. That sucks. I hope that things improve for you soon. So, figuring all this stuff out, I was definitely binging VTubers at the time. Nina was definitely one of them, and watching her gave me a lot of motivation to try and just be myself, more or less. I think that a question that a lot of people have is, do you have something to offer to the VTubing sphere? And the answer is not always yes, but you have to make a decision about more or less if bringing something to the VTuber sphere that is like new or innovative that will bring you attention is something necessarily that you want to do. And I think that Fox Mom, aka Nina, was very good at being entertaining, while just sort of being very down to earth, very much like a regular person. And she definitely gave me the impression that it's not like completely futile to be online broadcasting and being yourself. Nina has a nice voice. She's very wise. She's seen very many things beyond her years. She makes really awful mom puns, and she likes wine. But she does all of those very kind of like generic sounding things in a way, like her presence makes it dynamic. There's like, if you've ever heard anyone discuss like the it factor, right? Like there's something about you that draws people to you. She definitely had that. And I think that it was nice to have an example in the sphere of someone being attractive to watch, like from an entertainment perspective, but who wasn't, like blowing all their money to do like the next best, biggest thing, Like she actually just offered herself to people, and this was a case where it was enough. Now, obviously, that's not going to be the case for everyone, but knowing that there's people who just enjoy that sort of content, like that sort of chill camaraderie, was just a great example to me at the time of potentially a way that I could fit into the space, even if my goal isn't to, make a whole bunch of money and be famous or something like that. Space Kitty, when the smoke clears, I'll be a hell of a lot better. Yes, I totally understand. I do not work outside as often as I used to, because I mostly work from home now. But even just going out to get groceries and things, some of the smoke has been kind of bad. So hopefully it'll clear up soon, or the weather will blow it back up to Canada where it belongs. Sorry, Lemon, your people need to take your smoke back. Take the smoke back, Lemon. You represent all Canadians. You have to do it. So anyway, I'm very sad that Nina is leaving. She cited some of her reasons being that she felt she wasn't delivering the same type of quality that the other Niji livers were delivering. And I don't know. LMAO, sorry. It's all on colonization and climate change, babes. Oh gosh. So yeah, I understand where she's coming from, especially because she's an older VTuber. There's a few things that she doesn't know how to do in terms of just like innovating with the technology. But I honestly think those are things that could be learned. She said that she was going to work on herself, so I'm hoping that means that maybe there was just extra work. Maybe there's just extra work that she needed to do. I'm kind of personally hoping that she's absorbed maybe as like a manager for Niji Sanji. That would be super interesting because she was kind of doing that anyway, in terms of helping people collab and reach out and things like that. As a forester, I could host a TED Talk in 5 minutes about why my entire country is on fire because trees are highly flammable. I mean, that doesn't explain why they're on fire. It just explains maybe why they're still on fire. It doesn't give us the catalyst event, right? The catalyst event. Well, that's not, yeah, exactly. That's not why. Yeah, but yes. So you're probably saying all of that to say, I am very sad. I'm super sad about Fox Mom leaving. You're probably going to see retweets of her stuff. I actually have a keyboard build planned that I want to dedicate to her. Unfortunately, the board will not be here because, I mean, my gosh, she is graduating like in 2 weeks, basically, which is crazy. That is crazy. For anyone new who doesn't watch VTubers, if you don't know what graduating is, it's a loan word from Japanese idol culture. Whenever you leave the group that you were in or the company that you were in, you're said to be graduating because the idea of graduation is you're moving on to better things. Very often in the idol industry, idols are young. So once you hit a certain point, you transition to other careers, like modeling or, like video stuff, depending on how spicy you are. Voice acting in some cases also as well. Some also join like K-pop or J-pop bands and those sort of things. Like, so you're graduating from what is considered to be like a lucrative starting point to other things in the entertainment industry. So that was a holdover from that culture. And because VTubing is kind of like embedded or was carried over from Japanese idol culture, a lot of the terms are things that get used. So graduating is one of them. If you've ever seen like totsus or zatsudans, those are all words for different types of performances and streams in Japan for streamers. And I think the goal of carrying those terms over and not rebranding them is, to respect the culture and not like wash over it with something else. Some people don't like the term graduating. I've seen a couple posts about it recently. They don't like it because graduation in the West has a different connotation. And also on top of that, when you graduate from VTubing, there's, like a darker side to that, right? Sometimes talents are forced to graduate if they don't get along with management, or there's other, like scandals and stuff like that. Because of how conservative Japanese is or can be as a language, graduating is also a soft term that's used to sort of gloss over whatever problems or disagreements there may have been. So instead of, like saying, oh, we fired someone or terminated them, although more Western companies are using that language now, they'll just say someone graduated. A lot of people in the West have been vocal about not wanting to have those terms gloss over the situations. They want more transparency. So termination is like a term that's been used. So if you get fired, you get like terminated. But I still think that there are some companies that hide the real reasons behind why they do things on some of those terms. It's more than once someone has quote unquote graduated and then you find out that they were actually like fired for an incident that happened within the company or something like that. So I personally don't mind it because I think if you understand Japanese culture, you understand the connotation and the context of that word. People can graduate for unsavory reasons, but for the most part, it means you're moving on to a better space in your career. And I don't think we should stop viewing it as that just because there's some cover-up stuff going on. There's always like some bad connotations. Like in the US, people will say, oh, well, this person got laid off. But there is a legal definition of being laid off versus being fired. Some companies will lie and say that a person was laid off anyway, regardless of if they were actually fired or if they quit, because it's just the neutral ground that makes them look better. Being laid off specifically is when the company did not fire you for disciplinary actions. Basically, they had to cut positions or did not have funding for your position, or there's some other extenuating circumstance where they don't want to get rid of you, but they have to terminate the position that you were in. That's generally the connotation of laid off. Being fired is like, oh, we had to take disciplinary action against you, or you violated some policy. Or, you fucked up your job really bad. So we just, you were not competent enough. So we had to make the decision to actually get rid of you to make our company better, as opposed to laid off, which doesn't have the connotation of that blame. So it's similar to that. So to me, it's a little weird that people are like, I don't like the word graduation because it just seems so juvenile to me, like you're covering stuff up. But English has a lot of culture too that's about manipulating words and connotations and things like that. I could talk about it forever. So anyway, Nina's graduating. I'm very sad. There's a keyboard build. It is bright cherry motherfucking red. And it has a glossy coat on it. That is one of the unique things about it. Most boards do not have glossy finishes on them. So at some point in the future, next month is July. In August, at some point in August or September, I will be building that board, putting some stickers on it, and hopefully taking a shit ton of pictures and trying not to cry while I'm putting the board together. And I don't know, I'll probably talk about some streams that I enjoyed watching from Nina or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I liked Nina a lot. She's a very down-to-earth person. I don't know if any of you follow the indie VTuber realm, but there's another creator that gives me similar vibes. Her name is Mama Remedy. She's really cool. Very down to earth, very straightforward, very mom vibes, very I want to see you do your best, sweetie energy. And I just, oh my gosh, hopefully Remedy will still be streaming and nothing will happen. Now it's just like, I've never had a talent that I was like super duper attached to actually graduate that seemed to be doing well. Like Nina doesn't really have drama with anybody or anything like that. So it just sort of came out of nowhere. The announcement literally came out of nowhere. Very sad. So yeah, that's it. That's my spiel on Nina. Lumi is very sad. Luminous is very sad. So I wanted to get that off my chest. Other things happening in the VTubing community recently. Crazy. There was some discussion, some kerfluffles, if you will. Kerfluffles. Concerning male VTubers. That is a whole thing that's come up recently. There's this whole discussion about basically people venting and saying male VTubers in a generalization, and other people saying you can't use generalizations at all. That's been going on. That has been kind of crazy. I'm not gonna, like drop any names or anything, but I did want to just briefly state my stance on that topic. I think that, like with most things, context is required. I feel like people do not consider things with enough nuance. I think it's very easy to make a blanket statement about most things, but when you do that, your blanket statement only applies to a certain number of situations, and maybe not even the one that you're speaking on, potentially. And I don't know, that's the idea of that is crazy to me. I think that when people are expressing themselves about situations that they've been in, they should be allowed to have the room to express themselves that way. The context of a generalization is that it is general and not specific. If someone accuses a specific person or uses a general statement as, so generalizations are bad and shouldn't be used, is itself a generalization? This is true, but I think that doesn't make it necessarily invalid. Like, I understand the stance, right? When you make generalizations, people can be hurt by your words. But I think that there's just more than one side to this issue, right? People who have been hurt by a sizable number of people who fit into a category. I think that as long as we are not talking about clearly hurtful things, like if we're not talking about violent crimes or like things like that, you don't want to accuse people of those sorts of works without like evidence, right? But I think that context is just very important. It's really odd to try to censor people venting. I just think it's a multifaceted thing. Yes, if someone is making a generalization, the context of that generalization is that it cannot possibly apply to everyone. I think that if you're making a generalization about a group of people, it's very clear that either you are just synthesizing a lot of different experiences into a single statement for venting purposes or expression purposes, or you're really ignorant, right? It's really ignorant if you are the type of person to believe that a generalization is 100% true, right? That is pure ignorance. Generalizations by their nature are not true. And I think that even though there's a group of people on the internet who are either young or inexperienced or just malicious that will pretend like generalizations are true, I don't think that the fact that those people exist means that people shouldn't have the outlet to express themselves in their own space. So I think if you see a generalization and you think you are part of that generalization, if they are not specifically accusing someone or weaponizing that generalization to target a specific person, I think that it just makes more sense to let them be. They're clearly discussing their feelings. And I feel like the best way to combat people thinking that generalizations are true is to just educate people. Emotions are not logical things. And in the online space, I don't think everyone is obligated to speak all facts all the time. Like, we are complex beings. We have opinions and thoughts that are based on our feelings and stuff like that. And at least if you were in the Western world, the online space is in fact a space where people can in fact say things that are not true or hurtful and things like that. And I just think that should be taken into account. if you are a person who has, had a certain number of experiences that are negative with a group of people, right? It'll sound ignorant for you to say a generalization no matter what. But that doesn't mean that your experiences are invalid or not true, or even that you think every single person that's in this group that you'll come across, it's like that. Like I don't mention this often because I think it's not what I want to build my presence on, but I am POC. I am specifically Black. And there are people that make statements about Black people very often. Sometimes they're just being done just to be hurtful. But there are people who have had experiences. Now, does that excuse, potential racism? No. But I do think that there's something to be said about the validity of expressing yourself, even if what you're saying sounds dumb and ignorant. And again, context, important. There are statistics that back statements about how male and female interactions go. And I'm not saying that the statistics are the make it or break it thing. I'm not that hardcore of a science person. I think that humanizing things is actually important. But I am saying that there is a basis for the things that people feel in some cases. So if their intention is not to purely just be malicious and target people, if they're just expressing, I think that it's important to just let people have that space. People deserve that space. And I know that what I'm going to hear in response is going to be, oh, well, if someone were to make a statement about Black people doing blah, 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 that would be considered ignorant. But people do. We don't have to entertain that, as a hypothetical, right? People do actually say racist things all the time, and they do feel justified when they say those things. And it's gotten to the point where it happens in such high frequency, not even just about Black people, about any other group of people that are not white, for example. You get those statements all the time. And what we have to do, because we're surrounded by it in so many different circumstances, is actually just continue about our day. If someone has those feelings about a group of people, you're not going to change them by being outraged that they had the audacity to say that. You can definitely, vent, talk to your friend. You can even speak up, in a public sphere and say, I don't agree with this statement. I think all of those are valid, responses. But the idea of trying to censure people from saying things that are not 100%, factually true or based, is kind of crazy. So saying all of that to say, I don't necessarily agree with the statement male VTubers do blah, blah, blah. I don't agree with that. I'm a very nuanced person. I do think that there is a high statistical likelihood that people who unfortunately there's a greater statistical number of people who are male that do fucked up things to women specifically online. However, it is still hurtful to people to make those statements because, not every man, etc. Right? So I feel like this is just a space where things are kind of more in a gray area than black and white. And I feel like the issue with the discussion is that what people want to do, like Karisu pointed out in the chat, is use generalizations to blanket rules on what people can and can't say or shouldn't feel or should feel. And I just don't think that the human condition works like that. If someone makes a general statement about male VTubers because they've had experiences with male VTubers that are bad, I think it's not hard to understand or be understanding to the context of that. And I would just give the person the benefit of the doubt. Partially because it's not my business to go digging into someone's background unless I make it my business. And two, I think that if someone is doing the opposite, like they're making a male VTuber statement and they're actually being malicious. They're saying, well, we know male VTubers do XYZ, so this person's terrible. I would ask for proof. Where's the proof of this person being terrible? You can't use a generalization to attack an individual. You don't know if they fit into the generalization or not, right? I think that that's very important. So I agree / identify with, I guess understand is the better word. I understand and can empathize with multiple people in these scenarios. Is it smart to make generalizations? No. But if you're talking about a large number of people in plural, it does make sense to actually just use a term that refers to multiple people in that group instead of just pointing out like a list of 10 people that have all done the same thing, you know? I guess you could soften the language by saying something like some or most. You could try to have more accountability by being more careful with your language. Most of these people that I have encountered. But I mean, generalizations just are inaccurate other than to talk about majority statistics anyway. So there's just a certain level of, well, this only goes so far. That comes along with generic statements whenever you make them. It literally doesn't matter. What I don't think is fine is policing how people say things. The rule thing is just like, at least in a way where you're trying to like, you know, weaponize your audience or your influence. Those sort of things I don't agree with. I think if you disagree with a statement, it's perfectly fine to say, I don't like this statement because it makes me feel blank. Because then you're also being accountable for your personal feelings instead of passing judgment like on this person for their thoughts. It's just, I don't know. I just try to be a little more nuanced. I mean, we're talking about offended people versus hurt people. I mean, I guess like that distinction is almost negligible. We're talking hurt people versus hurt people. I would never try to erase the experiences of someone who is like a victim. But I also think that I can view the words of someone who's gone through a lot with the understanding that they are talking from the context of what they've gone through. And I know that some people don't feel like doing that work because that's work that you have to do every single time. It's easier to just generalize everything, but I just don't think that that works like on a fundamental level. We're in a global community here when we're talking about VTubers or Twitter in general. So, I mean, trying to fight every single person with a generalization, not knowing their background or their situation, you're inevitably gonna run into someone that the general public believes is justified in their viewpoint. And I also think it's tough asking people to set their victimhood aside to accommodate you who hasn't been through that same thing. I just prefer to just try to deal with things on an individual level. It's tough. I think that the way you phrase your objection is also important. A lot of the language that was discussed, at least on Twitter, were people just saying, no, there's no excuse for you to label a group of people at all or use a term to refer to a lot of people who fit within the same group. But English doesn't work like that, I say as a person who teaches English. In the same way that we can use they to refer to singular and also a group of people, we can also use a group to refer to some people in that group and not necessarily everyone. And I think that should also be taken into account. It occurs to me that that stance assumes someone is speaking from a space within their own experience and not just talking out of their ass or trolling, but that's a separate issue. Yes, but it's a glass half empty, half full situation, right? what do you assume of people automatically? Do you automatically assume malice? Or do you assume that if a statement is being made, there's reason for it, right? And that in itself is subjective. That in and of itself is subjective. Regardless of if I think someone is bullshitting or not, or weaponizing, you know, like popular language or not. I think that we can only assess what we have information for, right? We can really only assess what we have information for. It comes out as sort of like a innocent until proven guilty sort of thing. And the irony of this is that it's on both sides, right? So if you make a generalization, it makes people feel like you're judging them as guilty before you get to that point. But I think if you are a confident person and you know that you don't fit into the behaviors that are being referenced, I think that you just have to allow people to vet the way they do if they are not attacking a particular person and sort of leave it there. Because it's just, emotions are not a thing that you can refute. If you don't want to, like, say someone makes that generalization, male VTubers are all blah, blah, blah. You can just decide not to fuck with them anymore. And if anybody asks why, you can just say, hey, they made this really bad statement that I feel was not nuanced enough. It was unfair to a group of people, and I don't want to mess with that. Like, we are all arbiters of our own interactions and content online. I think we gotta deal with the agency of that a bit more. It's just, there's just a lot of subjective judgment that has to happen. And when you're trying to make quote unquote rules for what subjective judgment is going to be, you're always going to fail. You're always going to fail. Because the subjectivity means that everyone's going to have a different stance. The context and the merit of that context will be different to different people. You trying to place a lasso on that, that's one slippery boy. You're not gonna catch him. You just have to decide how you want to deal with those things yourself. I've said this, like, just to close. I posted a thread on Twitter about this once. When you are trying to control other people at large, with the implication that you'll be disappointed if they don't do X, Y, or Z, you've extended your agency too far. I feel like that's just generally what it is. There's nothing wrong with letting people know, here's how I feel about this situation, here is how I will react to things relating to that situation. But at the point where you're trying to emotionally guilt people into adopting your stance, you've gone too far. One, people don't like ultimatums, so that's not going to work out for you maybe 50% of the time. Two, the nuances that could exist within people who fall within the categories that you're emotionally threatening about is just not going to work out. You're going to end up alienating people who even agree with you in general, but have very specific circumstances, etc. And those people, plus the ones who are just going to walk away from your ultimatum, you can argue that you just don't want to mess with those people anyway. But I think that there's a lot of perspective and potential growth, exchange, experience, etc. lost when you're that hard-lined. Especially about things that are not things that are not in the super huge grand scheme of things that should be like high priority, you know? Obviously, subjectively, you can decide what's important to you and what stuff is worth. But I'm just saying, you know, if you die on every hill, you know, like, how many lives do you have? You know what I mean? Like, there's only so many hills you can fight on. And if you want allies that are going to help you win those battles, you have to be selective about which battles to fight. You can definitely, you know, not like different territories, not get along with different empires, but you can't fight every single one of them. I just think it takes nuance. I think everyone is different. We're all in different phases in life. And if you're just straight up villainizing people for their understanding and their experience and how that incorporates into who they are, I think you're kind of headed down a slippery slope there. That's all I have to say about that. It's complicated. That's the takeaway from this. It is a complicated issue. I don't think it's black and white enough to be like, this person's wrong, this person's right. I just think that there's a lot to take into account, and people need to take a lot into account. And instead of trying to control other people, just try to find people that have the same stance as you. And, grand slam with those people. Break bread with those people. And let everybody else, be who they are. Especially since, we're talking situations where these are just opinions online. Very few things are actually black and white and real. Yes, I agree. It's very nice to theorize about things and to talk about all the convictions that you will have while you're not, in the middle of things or in the thick of it, faced with real actual choices with consequences. That's not to say that I don't think people should not decide where their convictions are. Because at least if you have an idea of how you feel beforehand, you won't be completely blindsided. But yeah, it's tough. But the climate of the internet right now is everything is black and white. You're on this side of the fence or that side of the fence. So I'm not, gonna argue. I just think that if we're jumping straight to villainizing literally anyone, like any one single person because you don't like their stance, that's what I mean. Then that's an issue. That's an issue. I think that you can discuss your displeasure with something. You can discuss your frustration with a situation or with a scenario that you keep encountering. I think that you can express those things without completely villainizing them. And there is nuance between those things. Again, just more and more nuance. You can dislike something and not hate it. You can be neutral on something and not specifically like it. And those are all things that usually in the scape of the internet fall into a gray area. I think people just need to, in general, be more observant and understanding of things. That's all. That was a mouthful. Oh man. Related to that. And I spoke to Karisu about this earlier, so sorry if you're listening to this again. Related to people doing things and being malicious, etc. Nuance is non-existent in the more vocal areas of social media, particularly the likes of Twitter. Yes, you are absolutely correct. I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. This is a reminder. Check on your friends. I know that the famous meme is, check on your strong friends. Also, check on your weak friends. Don't just check on your strong friends. Check on your weak friends. There are some people who are working very hard to, change and be better about their boundaries and things. I think it's important to check on those people as well. I had a conversation recently with a friend that was, long story short, Purico, what do I do if I'm considered the strong and weak friend? You should have twice as many people checking up on you. In different contexts. Me. You should have twice as many people checking up on you if you are both a strong and weak friend. Purico, I haven't seen, first of all, I haven't seen you in a while. How do you do, buddy? How are you? Man, I'm almost speechless seeing you. I haven't seen you in such a long time. Do me a favor, Purico, while you are here to check something. You're good, enjoying summer break. That's right, you enjoy that summer. You get in that heat. You bake in it. I've been lurking. Okay, that's good. Do me a favor. Hit the hello command. Hit the hello command for me, Purico. I think I did a thing, but I can't remember. Flamin'! This heat be heated. Yes. Yes, indeed. I did do a thing. I did it correctly. I didn't fuck it up. Yeah, yes. Flamin'! I know that you were late to the last stream a couple days ago. So hopefully you are heating somewhere that's not completely uncomfortable. Aw, thanks, Lemon. But yes, check on your strong friends, check on your weak friends. I saw your cover. Oh my god. We would not call that a cover. Let's not call that a cover. Oh my gosh. I decided to be brave and stupid. So let's a cover. I also have a voluntary job at the library. Pretty chill. Ah, yes, library jobs are almost the best jobs, unless you're working in the back. If you're working in the back, it's not as great. But library jobs are pretty good. Nah, you did good though. I was just fucking around. Is it Flamingo ALS or Flamin' Goals? I've always wondered. I thought it was Flamin' Goals. That's what I thought. Flamin' will have to tell us. Like, I thought it was a pun on like flamingos, but you have goals? Like things you want to achieve? Just flamin', but it is Flamin' Goals. Okay. That's what I thought. I feel vindicated. Flamingo ALS would be actually, that would be kind of jamming. Okay, cool. I always think flamingo. Yes, I also think flamingo. But yeah, I had a heart-to-heart with a friend recently and was just talking about their journey through like therapy and going through life and things. They were definitely one of those people, but it's also flamingo. I think you told me that when we first met, that it could be flamingo. You said you preferred flamingo or flamin', but your favorite was flamin'. So I've called you flamin'. Yeah, so this friend had a difficult time going through like, more or less, just a lot of life stuff. They were having a hard time with learning how to set boundaries and stick up for themselves. And there were some times where I was very worried about them being manipulated into situations that they absolutely should not be in. However, they've done all right for themselves. And I don't know. Sometimes in the moment, you don't want to push people away by, criticizing how they approach things. You can give them a little nudge and say like, hey, I care about you and I don't want, this thing to happen to you, XYZ. But that's not the same as what I want to say in most cases, which is, hey, stop being a dumbass. Don't do this. And sometimes if you're worried about a person, it makes them feel bad because they don't want to take up that sort of real estate in your brain. But for me, if I'm worrying about you, it's because I care about you. Like I would not give you rent space in my brain if I didn't care about you. I know that some people overthink and they just can't help but think about everyone and everything. I am not one of those people. When I want to, head empty, brain dead. Okay. So if I don't give a fuck about you, you definitely won't hear, you won't hear from me, at least in terms of, me thinking about you. I'm very upfront. I'm very direct. I will message people randomly to say, hey, I saw XYZ and I thought of you today. I hope you're doing well. That happened to me a couple times today, actually, but I'm in a small village, so it's a small library, not really the back, not many people, just me and somebody else, mostly chatting or placing books, sometimes returning books. That's nice. When I was younger, I wanted to be a librarian so that I could work that exact job that you are working now. Like maybe ALS 242 is like a state abbreviation and half a zip. What state is ALS? A busy day is apparently only 20-ish people. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's quite small. It's always good to give that little nudge. It's always appreciated. Yeah. And when people care about me, I'm like, huh? Oh my gosh, not one of those. I know way too many people in my life who are like, oh my God, I can't believe you care about me. And I'm like, of course I care about you, dummy. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. I'll just be in my little void, and I appreciate people reaching, being like, hey, you good? Yeah, yeah, exactly. ALS, Alaska? You know, Lumi is a tsundere. No, I am not a tsundere. I'm not a tsundere. Believe me. I'm not a tsundere. Like me, I'm likable. There's no shyness. There's no shyness here. There's no, oh my God, you dummy. I don't even like you. No. If I like you, I love you a lot. There's big love. There's big love. I embarrass my friends all the time. More yandere. Where are you getting these rumors from? Tsundere? Yandere? Where are y'all coming up with these suggestions from? I'm definitely not yandere. Man, if I really like you and you don't want me, then I guess we'll see each other. Well, never mind. I was gonna say that was definitely gonna sound yandere without meaning to. I was gonna say, I'll see you in the next life, but I didn't mean that because like I would put you there. I meant that in a very normal, very regular, it'll happen at some other point. No, not confirmed. There's no confirmed. We're not confirming that. We're not. Alaska is AK. Yes, Alaska is AK. I was going to say that, but got distracted by being called a yandere. But to be fair, I know that Lemon is not a caca freedom person. So some people do not know the state abbreviations. I'm not expecting her to know. To be fair, I only know a handful of Canadian provinces. So yeah, I'm not Merc. Yeah. 242 is the zip of the Bahamas. Ah, yes. I mean, I've read your Twitter bio, so I know that you're Bahamian. You declare it very proudly, as you should, as you absolutely should. But yeah, I didn't have any question about it. Oh shit, I don't remember all the provinces anymore. Kurisu, it's okay. When was the last time you went to Canada? I am of the snow people. It's true, but you're like not in the snowiest parts. You're in like the moderately snowy parts. It do get real cold where you are though. Yeah, it's cold. It's cold, Flamin'. It's cold. It's hella cold. Canada is cozy. I don't know, but it depends on what part of Canada. It depends on what part of Canada. I mean, I guess technically it's cozy because it's cold there so much during the year. You gotta cozy up. So I am of the islander people. Nah, not the snowiest, but very chilly willy. Yeah, east side is cozy. I am biased, but my exposure to Eastern Canada is in fact that it is cozier. I'm sure that that's absolute hogwash, and people from the West would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? What about us, eh? I haven't been to Canada since 2000. Oh my, it's quite different. At least in the major city areas. That's quite a long time. I'm sure most of it is transformed since then. That's a while. That's a while. There are streamers younger than the number of years that have passed since you last went to Canada. More metric, yes. Alberta is very American for Canada. I'll let you in on that. But I am not Burton beef. Oof, don't make me feel old. You are not old. You're not old, Flamin'. I'm definitely older than you. So we're not talking that. Oh well, damn though, this is true. It's okay. In the world of VTubers, most of you are all very young. I think most VTubers are like in the hundreds or thousands of years, so you guys don't have to worry about that. Humans have it very easy, very quick wisps of candle smoke, and then you're snuffed out. No, I'm fucking old. I'm like dust. I don't know. Ghosts are technically timeless. Ghosts are technically timeless, you know? I am but between worlds. That sounds so profound and yet communicates like virtually nothing. I love how that sounds though. Oh my gosh, I am such a weeb. So really quick, not old or young. That's a good place to be. That's a good place to be. Really quickly, the last baby I built, and for anyone who's new here or who hasn't been here in a while, when I'm referring to my babies, my children, my baby girl, I'm referring to my keyboards. I built mechanical keyboards on stream. The newest one I built has a screen on it where I can display a GIF. Damn, she building grown-ass babies. Listen. Yes. I named them too. This boy that I'm talking about right now, his name is very specifically Sulair. But more importantly, he has a screen where I can upload a GIF. I totally uploaded a GIF to this. And because I'm absolutely a nerd and a weeb, I was like, you have kids. Some VTubers have kids though. I am not one of them, but some do have kids. I built my latest bitch out of spare parts. Oh, that's me. I built my latest bitch out of spare parts. She's hated me ever since. Oh man. Yes, me talking about like a whole person. I customized that bitch. Look at these upgrades. Have we seen the baby lately? I'm pretty sure that I showed off this baby. Let's see. Can I show off this baby again? I gotta like get my streaming area together. Hang on. I might be able to turn on my camera for you. My gosh. I did show this baby though. Only once or twice? Oh my gosh. That desk light is so bright. Okay. Let me get my camera. We'll see. Have we seen the baby lately though? Which baby? I'm not sure which one. Okay. I think that... Oh, wait, hang on. Oh shoot. Do I even know what I'm doing? Have I streamed before? Have you? You have so many babies. It's true. I do, in fact, have so many babies. I have so many. Shoots. I can't figure out how to... Oh, never mind. I got it. Frick. What am I doing? That is the actual question. I was not prepared for this. Okay, here we go. I think that I've got things together. Probably. Okay, I think I got things together. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. My God. Can I actually? Can I actually figure out how to do anything? Okay, here we go. All right. Oh, wow. That's really messy. That camera was not where it was supposed to be. Oh my God, the light is so bright. Oh, but oil just on the desk. Okay, this is so bright. let's be less bright. Here we go. This is the new baby. This is the new baby. I think that focus is actually pretty good, honestly. Man, this is super saturated. Hang on, let me actually adjust the camera. Because this is ridiculous. It's so saturated. Let's not maybe. Let's maybe not with that level of saturation. My God. I'm gonna play with the light balance a little bit. Saturation is that goes crazy. Okay, I think this is a little tiny bit closer to what I am seeing. Vibrant, yes, it's very vibrant. So the important thing here, let me adjust this hue just a tad bit, a little tad bit. Oh God. Okay. Hands, yes, hands. No pretty nails this time though. I like the colors of it. Yes, I also like Sulayer. Let me adjust that. There we go. That's actually pretty good focus. But more importantly, right? Oh, I unplugged it. Why did I do that? More importantly, my GIF. Oh my God. Let me see. Yes. It's like, oh my God. Can I get some shade? Can we get some shade here so I can actually see him? Oh my God. Okay. It is Sesshomaru. It is literally a GIF of Sesshomaru. I want to get close enough so you can see it, but it's so bright. The screen is so freaking bright. I don't think it's possible to actually capture it on camera. No. But my GIF is actually Sesshomaru though. Because I am in fact that person. I'm that person. Daddy. Don't worry, my nails are 100% worse. Maybe, but I'm used to having decent nails on stream. I'm giving my nails a rest. All the nail styling sessions messed them up. What the fuck? You can put GIFs on a keyboard? If you get the right one, you sure can. If you get the right one, you sure can. My desk is a mess. Please excuse my desk. But yes, here we go. We got Papa Seshi on the GIFs. Oh, I love it so much. Oh my God, screw RGBs. Let's have mini screens. Let me tell you, there's so many keyboards that have screens now, but not all of them can run GIFs. A lot of them have screens that just like display metrics and stuff like that. But this was my very first one that actually had like, I think the screen like froze because I was doing too much with the cord. Yeah, there we go. But yes, this one specifically can have GIFs running on it. I want to have another screen that I could put GIFs on, but we'll see. We will see. We'll see in the futures. Don't worry. I remember you losing your mind over Seshi and being clipped on Twitter. No, what? Oh God. I forgot about that. Core memory unlocked. Why would you do that? Why would you remind me of that? Why would you remind me of that? He is daddy though. I guess for me, he's the equivalent of like, you know, I love a woman that can kick my ass. I love a demon that can kick my ass. Okay. The Keeb sounds are gonna be different without your nails clicking. Wait, there's evidence. I can't remember who clipped it, but it was a long time ago. It got clipped. Yeah, it got clipped. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this messy desk situation. Oh, yeah, there's evidence somewhere on Twitch of me, I think, going, I don't know. So, it might have been you who clipped it, actually. Someone clipped it. It was either you or I think Dead King. One of you clipped it. Not that I'm encouraging people to look. But anyway, my point is, sometimes when I am looking down at my desk, I just see like Daddy Sesshomaru, and I just laugh at myself because, man, You know, once a weeb, always a weeb. Am I right? You just... Okay. Embarrassing story time. Somewhere in my mother's house, Mama Luminous, in Mama Luminous's house, say that 3 times fast, right? Somewhere in that ethereal being's home is in fact a journal where I specifically wrote out a list of husbandos. Like, they are like numbered. They are not particularly ranked, except for Sesshomaru, who is number 1. I may have said this on stream at some other point before, but I don't know. I don't know. When I was younger, I had this idea that, like, growing up, I would eventually be forced to, like, stop watching anime or stop enjoying the things that I enjoy because, like, that's what society is like, right? So I wanted to have a notebook full of things that I love and adore, to reference for myself when I'm old and crotchety and unfun. So that's part of where those notebook entries came from. I was just like, I just want to be able to look back on it and be like, oh, right. I like that a lot. That's pretty dope. Let me maybe like revisit it, look at some old photos or something, you know? I don't know. I was obsessed with the idea of like people forcing me to put away quote unquote childish things. And then when I grew up and borrowed this form, I decided, fuck that. I'll continue liking the things I like regardless. Not me. I've got 3 clips of your Ara-Aras and 1 other that I don't know, but not the Sesshomaru fangirling. Good. It's lost to the dregs of time. I'm sure it's fine. No one needs to see that, you know? No one needs to see the Sesshomaru fangirling. There's enough fangirling of me out on the net. Man, the clips from that touch-starved stream, let me tell you. The amount of cringe I had editing that video was immense. But those reactions were genuine, so I do not take them back. I have 0 regrets. It is what it is. I would rather enjoy life to the fullest than not at all. Ugh, I still need to learn how to clip Kurisu reading Jade. I would like to add some context to that for anyone who may not know. Jade is a character that I write. Lemon and I are in like a writing group of sorts together. And I don't know, he's a spicy character, so to speak. So and Lemon had Kurisu. Kurisu has like a custom voice redeems for pretty cheap, so you guys should go to his streams and make him say stupid shit. But anyway, Lemon had Kurisu read a couple lines that she liked especially for her birthday. And Jade is my favorite top tier character, and I would be happy to be his next murder victim. We're not doing this here. We're not doing this on stream. I will say that is a very high compliment. You've been reading a lot of books recently, so to say like Jade is your favorite top tier character, that's crazy. That's crazy. For any, I mean, have you ever received a compliment like that? Like, oh, I should really get on the ball with editing my videos and extract that for you, Lemon. Have you ever like received a compliment that just blew you away? Like that is what's happening to me right now with like Lemon's compliment. But what is like the best compliment you've ever experienced? LMAO, no. I have received a couple. I have in fact received a couple. I'm trying to think of some of the really cool compliments I've received over the years. No, I can't say anyone has ever gushed about wanting to be my next murder victim. I think that's a Lemon exclusive. I don't think we have to compare to that. I think that's a very specific niche of compliment, but like something equivalent, hovering in the same area, but different, you know? One of the biggest compliments I have been given ever has been, and this was said in a facetious sort of way, but still, I was told once by one of my besties, we are not allowed to not be friends. This is a non-negotiable contract. And when we are old, we're just gonna move into a house together and yell at kids to get off our lawn. But I literally cannot exist in life imagining not having you as my best friend or one of them. So you actually are just not allowed to leave is what I was told. And that was just like very, 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 very flattering. I guess if you count desiring to be a victim of the next crimes I commit, then yeah, Lemon's got that nailed down. Look, the heart wants what it wants. Hey, I'm not judging. I just wanted to make a fair playing field for everyone. I'm trying to think of other things, other compliments that I've received. I was once told, that someone would be willing to wait in line to be in love with me in the next life if they can't do it in this one. Other things, I've had poems written to me. So those are also very nice. One of them is on DeviantArt. I was not tagged in it, but it's just where the person was like positing their writing at the time. So that was an interesting experience. I actually did not realize this poem was written about me until several years later, when it was confirmed to be a conversation. Someone else actually said, "Oh yeah, that poem that was written about such and such basically Lumi," and the person was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that," and I was like, "What?" And they were like, yeah, I totally wrote that about you. That was about you. And I was like, oh, what? Now I want to go back and read it. I remember reading it. I thought it was super passionate. I thought you were just, talking about enjoying life. Or enjoying the idea of like love in general. And they were like, no, that was very specifically about you. And I was like, oh no. Oh goodness. Other compliments that I have received. Awkward now. No, I read the poem. I thought it was lovely when I read it the first time. I had a very positive reaction to it the first time. I just didn't know it was about me. Shying away from adult rated content compliments. Another compliment that I have received that was really nice was, I don't remember what situation I was in, but this person basically just said, I just want you to just stand here with me for a while. Like I would actually like to be standing next to you and not any other person who is alive. So that was also very nice. I don't know. I've been extraordinarily blessed to be complimented by a great many number of people. As many people as are intimidated by me, actually. So that has been quite a time in my many years. I have been well loved, so I have no qualms. I'm gonna try to find maybe like some of the letters and things that I've been written. I don't know. My friends and we exchanged like cards and poems and love in all other forms. So I have like no shortage of things. A friend of mine had a box of compliment cards that they got. It was like a little novelty box, and they gave me 2 of them. I can't remember what they say right now, but I have them like in a book somewhere, so I have to find them. Maybe we'll do like a compliment stream where we like come up with cool compliments for people that you can use. Actually, I lied. My best compliment was someone saying my styles and makeup, etc. Said they never recognized me until I talked, even though we saw each other every week. You are an absolute chameleon. I remember that. That is a really good compliment, though. That's pretty good. I actually really like that. Oh my, we've been streaming for almost 2 hours? That is so much longer than what I was planning on doing today. Oh my gosh. Okay. I do actually have to go. I do have a couple things to do and to finish up tonight. I just wanted to get on and just like chat with people for a bit. I'm trying to do these streams a little bit more because I don't always have the time to like sit and play games for a set amount of time or to build a keyboard. I do have some keyboards to build, but I've been trying to space them out because I don't want to build them all at once. There will come a point where I am not acquiring keyboards, so I gotta space out the content, you know. So I've only got a few minutes before I gotta dip anyways. It do be like that. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for chilling with me today. I appreciate you just spending time with me. I enjoy spending time with people and just learning about whatever it is they're doing, whatever it is they're passionate about. I like the back and forth of it. Exposure to people is a need for humans. And as a fae who is loosely connected to humans, I find that I am bored without company as well. So I appreciate you guys being lovely morsels and sharing bits of yourselves with me. And I look forward to sharing more of myself with you. It's been fun, Lumi. Yes, thank you for stopping by to chat with me, Kurisu. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else that needs to be done? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Housekeeping for the end of stream. I have a YouTube page where you can watch, VODs from previous videos. I'll put that in there. I also have a spreadsheet for anyone who wants to know what type of keyboards I have. I think that's a command too. Did I make that a command? Look at me go. Look at me go. I've done all the things. So if you're interested in seeing what keyboards I have, you can actually go there. There are pictures, so you don't actually have to look through just lists of names and things you don't recognize. You can just see what they look like and say, ooh, pretty colors. So there's that. And I think that's it. I think that is it for me. Hit me up on Twitter, all the usual stuff. And I will talk to you guys later. Remember that you are very important and to take care of yourself, okay? Bye.